Continuing our discussion about the evolution of the Zenki products and my journey about working with energies and understanding them. So in the early 1990s, I discussed that I was working with some of these energy plates out of America, and I found that they were limited. I found firstly that they were free energy capacitors and weren't using the best quality materials, because for me, if you're going to work with metals on the body, you should work with the highest quality metals, which would be really gold, silver or copper. And aluminium was a life negative substance. So I figured if you wanted to make a free energy capacitor that was actually of really good quality, then you would use the best substances available, and using the best as the conductor, and for your insulator using silk, because it was the best natural material and of really high vibration. So for example, if you had gold leaf and silk and wrapped them and layered them so you had sort of these layers of gold, silk, gold, silk, gold, silk, you would build this beautiful free energy capacitor. But it still would be limited, because what it actually would be doing is what Wilhelm Reich talked about, who was the founder of the term orgone and worked with, I think, Freud, and coined this term for the natural energy in the atmosphere, orgone. And he posited, and he called it bions, these little things that you see darting in the air if you diffuse your eyes. And he found that he could accumulate this energy by making devices. So what he did was actually make these orgone accumulators. These orgone accumulators, he was using steel and wool. Wool as your insulator and steel as your conductor, and making layers of these and making them into boxes that you could sit in. And he was working with people with cancer and different illnesses and getting varying results. But what he decided to do was say, well, if it does that and it preserves things and it can assist people with their illnesses, maybe I can take a toxic substance and put that in there and see what happens. So he actually, because he had a laboratory, I think he had access to a bit of radioactive material, he put it in this orgone accumulator, and it did the complete opposite to what he hoped it would do. It actually amplified it. Someone died, they had to shut down the laboratory. And so what happened with this is that these orgone accumulators, as good as they were just for experimenting, really were limited in working with toxic substances or changing them. He also found that around his property, if he was anywhere near high tension power lines, he would get this black soot around these devices starting to arrive. And he came out with a couple of terms. One was OR, which was orgone radiation, and that was the positive. He called that from these devices. He found, though, around power lines, and certainly after the exposure to the radioactive material, they ended up with DOR, what he called deadly orgone radiation. So these devices could be polluted very easily. They were also free energy capacitors, because they were working with an insulator conductor.